Maybe I just gave up the idea of aliens and I just don't want to reconsider it. Maybe that's the case. Yeah, I don't find it interesting to watch this video actually. Okay, let's end this with this video and then then I have to go to sleep, man. So let's see what this is about. It's funny to see the symbolism here, right? This gay flag, you know, the flag of diversity and equity and inclusion, you know, the LGBTQ flag that shows all the different colors, like, hey, look, everybody is represented here, everybody can feel welcomed, and you know, this is where everybody comes together, all the special colors, right? It's not boring like white, you know, the standard white. We have everything, but at the same time, you know, what Prism does, you know, the Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd cover, you know, the thing that is separating the colors. In a sense, the funny thing is that what is most inclusive is the color white, because all the colors are inside of it. But if you look at the rainbow flag, you're seeing they all got separated. Now this shows just, you know, a flag of different identities put together next to each other. But they're not really having something that is unifying. What is unifying about the rainbow flag? Maybe it's that it's not white, that it's colorful, that it's the opposite of the norm. So it's like an alliance between the outsiders. It is an antithesis to the norm. That is, so it's not unifying for the norm. It's just, you know, unification of all the separate parts, the different parts that form together in opposition to what is the norm. Basically, something like that. Anyway, interesting symbolism. Let's get into this.
Were you guys alive during the peak Bush era? I need to come into grips with the fact that I'm very
okay,
old,
I think I know where this is going.
and there are people right now which are 18 and may not even remember that era, but basically, they would...
I think he would talk about how Christians back in the days were trying to censor everything and trying to push, you know, their religious beliefs into, you know, everything. And now what we're seeing is that woke people are doing the same thing. Everything has to be, you know, made woke in some sense. And you can't just have, you know, normal things. You can't just have, you know, violence and stuff, because, or at least violence against women, or you're not allowed to have, you know, sexy women, because that is harmful. In the same way, not in the same way, but in a similar way, it was harmful for, you know, good Christians to you know, see sexy, attractive women, or to see violence, right? That is bad, that is sinful, and you not ought to be doing that, and you shouldn't play video games with that, and we need to ban that. And this has come back under the guise of liberalism and progressivism. So this is interesting.
Take something of no value, like a pair of underwear, a coffee cup,
okay,
and they would smack an American flag on it, or they would smack an eagle on it.
Yeah.
And then patriots would buy it like crazy.
Okay, this is...
At least it looked good, you know? Like an American flag automatically looks good, the eagle looks good.
Yeah.
But this is the...
as a German, I like eagles.
Now, look at this. 3.7 million views. Jesus fucking Christ. Right? And all
damn.
They draw something that's atrocious, and they smack a rainbow flag on it. They smack a color of paint in order to show the lack of talent that they have. It's like, no, don't criticize that, because if you criticize the fact that...
I like how brutally honest he is. And I think this is also what I like about Asmongold. I think since Donald Trump won, he and others, they have been more... I would say more, not open, more direct, more aggressive, no, more unapologetically, I would say. They would just say things like, well, as you can see, actually, most people agree with me. I think it's a very powerful tool that Americans now have. They can just refer to, the populace, can say, you know what, this is actually the norm. And what we had for so long was that people on the left and progressives, they would gaslight everybody into thinking that which was normal, like, liking attractive, liking, what's the word for it? Not normal, not like what people consider as attractive. Damn, my English is bad. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, liking conventional, that is conventionally attractive women, okay? They pathologized liking conventionally attractive women and said, this is bad, this is the male gaze, this is terrible for women's self-esteem and whatever. And so everything that normal people liked and normal people enjoyed was being pathologized. And people say, well, this is actually not normal, it's just a social construct, you just like this because you were raised in such a society and this and that. And they always would act like biology doesn't really exist. Like, it's not like all the stuff that we see as attractive is actually, like they are markers for health, for fitness. So they would act as all these things doesn't exist. And, the reason why, men like wide hips and, symmetrical faces or, boobs and stuff is just because society has, indoctrinated them. They have, society did propaganda. And that is why males like, conventionally attractive women. And if we just, show characters like these, then suddenly people would be like, oh yeah, I actually like this. I like, fat, disabled, women, right? With beards or whatever, that have, a masculine jaw or something. They try to normalize all the stuff that is normal and try to gaslight everybody who is normal and, likes normal things. Gaslight them by saying, you know what, that's actually stupid. You're just being indoctrinated to like this. It's actually not normal. So and now what people can do is finally they can say, actually, being against, transitioning children, being, against mass migration, being against all this stuff. It's actually not hateful. It's actually what the popular opinion is. This is what, most Americans want. And, the same with video games. People can now say, you know what, most, of the male player base, they want a certain product. They want attractive females. And conventionally, so, I know this is attractive too, but let's just talk conventionally, which is, something that most people find attractive. So this is the norm. People can now say, this is what we want. This is what most people want. So why don't you create a product that reflects that? And then the only answer they have is, well, yeah, because we don't want to, and we don't care about profit. We care about, and we don't care about, the customer. We care about pushing, you could say a political agenda, like an ideology. You could say, they have a specific view of how the world should be, what, normal people should like. They have this idea of, and what they're trying to do is to make this vision that they have a reality. And whatever product they are producing, it's basically just a ploy, a way for social engineering. And it always backfires. It backfires. It backfires very, very much. And people feel much more comfortable to just say, well, it's not normal. Well, it's just weird. So what was before was seen as, bigotry and, oh, you can't say that, or you can't say that on Twitter, you can't do this, you couldn't do that. Now people just feel comfortable to say this, and the more people feel comfortable, the more people are actually saying these things, and then it has this, this avalanche effect, right? And that's, after some time it will get actually tired, like having people to call out the woke stuff. And I get it, after some time you're like, okay, I've seen this enough, I have laughed about this like 100 times and now I'm tired. But I haven't come to this phase right now. I still get a chuckle if somebody just unapologetically just say, you know, this is fucking weird, you know, this is atrocious. And that's why I really like, you know, this guy. This is V, you know, V has 2 channels. He has Romanian TV and lack of entertainment. I mean, you probably already know it because he has a very unique voice. But anyway, let's continue.
The fact that this looks like us, you're a homophobe, right? If you criticize the fact that this looks like us, you probably hate brown people, right? You love brown people, so buy my shit. This is the marketing winner. I don't even know who the fuck.
I mean, I saw actually attractive brown people, and I saw attractive people in wheelchairs. So this is not an excuse, man. I mean, this is you could have made an attractive brown character in a wheelchair. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put a person in a wheelchair in a war scenario, but you know, in the German military, okay, and I'm not talking about the past. I mean, it's the past because it's like 14 years ago, maybe. But when I had to be, you know, every young man back in the days had to be checked, right? You went to the military and they checked if you are viable for service. And I have to admit, I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. So, you know, I would write this. If you don't want to do military service, you have to do an essay and tell why, and have to get a good, something like an excuse or whatever. And I did that, but they still, you know, make you take the test and all of that. Anyway, there were people that wanted to go to the military and they couldn't because they had flat feet. Fucking flat feet. So the German military was like, you know what? Go, I don't know, wipe the ass of some old person, because that is the alternative, by the way. It's not now anymore because they stopped with this drafting. But you had the opportunity to either do community service or go to the military. And I mean, you can choose what kind of community service you are doing. But it's a nice way to at least, you know, start working and start to give something back to your country, I guess, in, you know, the way you want to, right? When you don't want to, you know, go around killing people, then you can just, you know, take care of, you know, elderly people. You can take care of whatever it is. Yeah, just take care of something and get a little bit of money, which was also nice. Like, was basically the first money that I got. So it's kind of a shame that they stopped doing it. It would be also probably a nice thing for immigrants, right? To make them, to force them to become part of the community and in some way at least, you know, give something back. It's like, but I probably the rate of elder abuse would skyrocket if we start to force, like, and neglect and all of that shit. Well, that would be very bad, actually. Paused military service for migrants. Maybe that is a good idea. I'm just thinking out loud. It's just a thought that came to me. Anyway, so yeah, you have flat feet, so wipe somebody's ass. Well, just about, you know, just when we're talking about if this would make sense to have like this, I don't know, combat wheelchair fatty driving around the battleground. Well, I mean, if she's sitting in a chair, a rolling chair, the flat feet doesn't matter anymore, right? So anyway, I just don't think it makes sense, but whatever.
Fuck chubby chubbies. I don't even fucking care. And like, all I'm seeing is something that would not sell. Like, you can take it anywhere you want in the world, And
Yeah.
there's no amount of cash that you can charge for it that people would, even if you were to give it for free,
Actually, who wants
no one
this?
would take it. The
Yeah.
only people that would take it are people that are ideologues.
Like five ideologues that are fat and sitting in wheelchairs, and they would, I don't know, they would play it for like 5 minutes, and then they would, I don't know, doing something else. I can't really imagine. This is what also is so annoying. Video games and, you know, fiction in general mostly functions, I think, as a way to provide experiences that you otherwise wouldn't have. And this can be some kind of wish fulfillment, this can be anything, right? It can be just an interesting experience. Sometimes, I mean, we don't always consume like heroic stories and, you know, we are doing some kind of self-insert in this. No, sometimes we are watching tragedies and or horror movies, and these are things that we don't want to experience, but we get, you know, a glimpse of what it would be like to experience these, and this can give us, you know, I don't know, a meaningful experience and an interesting new outlook on life or something. Okay, so this can be interesting. So it could be interesting to make a video game with, like, we had this movie The Whale, right? And that was very popular with Brendan Fraser playing a very fat guy. And I think it was about the struggles of being fat. And people loved that movie. So this wasn't a power fantasy. This wasn't like something, oh, I want to self-insert. And the funny thing is thin people could watch that and have a meaningful experience, right? So you can watch stuff, or you can, you know, see movies with characters in it that aren't your identity, right? You can put yourself in the shoes of others, and that is a meaningful experience. So this whole argument of, oh, I need representation, I'm not really sure that is the case. But anyway, so I think, kind of lost track here. I think that's, yeah, I fucking lost track. Damn, you know what I mean, okay? You know what I mean, okay? You exactly know what I mean. Let's continue the video. Maybe I remember the point.
And they're like, okay, I need to take it so that I look good, so that I pretend that I'm supporting.
I think it was about the people who would buy this, right? Who would play this. And oh yeah, you could make a game that was about, you know, a fat person that is in a wheelchair, and, well, maybe not a game, because the game is really focused on the gameplay, on the experience, on doing stuff, right? Maybe it would be some kind of very psychological, interesting, story-based game where it's not about, I don't know. I mean, I can imagine reading a book or watching a series about a... actually, I don't want to watch a video of like a series about a fat, overweight African-American lesbian in a wheelchair. I don't know. I kind of don't want to watch that. Yeah. Yeah, I can see a situation. Maybe there could be a situation where I would enjoy that. Let's imagine a cool, fat, disabled lesbian in a wheelchair on an adventure. Maybe it's not an adventure, maybe it's a psychological drama where you really get into the mind of that person and her struggles. That could be interesting. We really see, you know, the fucked up shit. I mean, it could also be a very inspirational person. Maybe, okay, a superhero movie. We had Xavier, right? Xavier from the X-Men. Now we get the LGBT non-binary person, not the X-Men. And she has psychic powers, and her psychic powers get stronger the more she eats. So she has to be fat. Damn, yeah, I don't know. obviously what we are doing here, we are talking about fictional characters. Being able to make fun about, you know, fictional characters, or the whole idea of having like a disabled fat character in some kind of fictional, what would you say, I don't know, in some kind of context, right? I mean, like superhero stuff or something. We can make fun of that, but doesn't mean that we should be disrespectful to people who are actually, you know, fat or disabled. People mostly don't choose, you know, their struggles. They don't choose how, you know, the body they got. They don't choose if they get disabled or not. So I think we should actually, we have a lot of, you know, sympathy and empathy, and actually maybe not that much sympathy and empathy, but rather treating them as normal people, right? I don't actually think that people who are sane and are disabled want to be seen as, you know, victims. They want to be treated as, you know, everybody else, like a normal person. And I think this is what we actually should do. And maybe that also means that, you know, you are able to make fun of them, or like their people with their identity in a, I don't know, military setting, which just doesn't make sense. Right? So maybe that is part of it. I don't know. I'm trying to be, if I meet people in real life. So this is not a real person, obviously. This is a drawing. And we are mostly talking about the absurdity of having, you know, this type of physical makeup of a body in this certain type of context. And it doesn't mean that there couldn't be in real life very fantastic and great and interesting, you know, brown, lesbian, disabled wheelchair driver, right? There could be like amazing people, very, you know, great and virtuous person. Yeah, I think, you know, that is just something that we have to keep in mind, that there are actually people out there that have this kind of, you know, physical makeup, and yeah, there might be good people. So that's all I have to say about this one.
The LGBT stuff, as if like some gay person living in a trailer benefits from the fact that you're selling this shit. And it's so...
That's always so funny, right? They're going to be like, oh well, we're actually doing something good for society. We're doing something good for the LGBTQ blah 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 plus XYZ community, right? Because our video game is inclusive. We have this type of, you know, body type in our game, and it's so funny. Is it sanctimonious? What is the right word for this? It's like pretentious. I don't know. They think so much about what they're doing, like they're making so much more out of it than it actually is. I think what they're doing is they're actually doing like a religious practice. It's like a ritual. It's something like, look, what we are doing is aligns with the values of equity and inclusion and representation and all that stuff. And by that, we are furthering the cause of, you know, these values, and we are continuing on the path to the type of utopia, the type of inclusive utopia that we want. And since they believe that this works as a kind of, since they believe, you know, humans are blank slates and everything can be seen as, you know, beautiful and attractive, since they think they can achieve everything through social engineering, they actually believe they are part of creating the kingdom of heaven. I mean, obviously they don't call it the kingdom of heaven, but they're calling it the realization of whatever values they try to push on people. So yeah, I think for them it feels deeply meaningful, which makes it so much funnier if you just look at this picture and realize, okay, this is deeply meaningful to them. I don't know if I shouldn't feel sorry. I think maybe. I think this can happen. This can happen to everybody, right? It's like we see so many people that and this is probably me as well, that are very unconscious about a lot of things, about their values, about their ideologies, their belief systems, and yeah, many people are just on autopilot. They don't realize, what kind of values they even have, what kind of, ideas are controlling them. So for them, all of this seems completely fine. Yeah.
Oh, like everything looks like us, It's like, okay, this is what, like the emperor of mankind. Like, congratulations, you made him a woman, right? Like, wow, that is so innovative. Wow, like no one has done that before. Wow, you made him brown. Oh my goodness, like the level of innovation, the level of creativity. Oh, you made them fat like an American. Oh my gosh, like no one would have thought about creating something like that. Meanwhile, the Japanese and the Chinese are like, okay, what if we take a girl that dies in a school shooting, edgy as fuck, right? Like all the Americans are quaking in they're pissing their pants. Oh, how that in fiction? Right? She dies in a school shooting,
but
she
way.
gets reincarnated as a fucking spider. And her classmates are reincarnated into that isekai world. And then shit fucking happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds great.
Like we're talking about different levels of creativity now. Like this is like a cave fucking paint.
Yeah, this is like so stereotypical, right? This is what makes it so boring. I mean, of course, the isekai genre is overplayed now. It's basically, you can watch animes and be like, okay, I watched this anime like 10 times before. It's always the same formula, right? But at least they're trying. They're making like weird shit. Like you get reborn as a slime, as a vending machine, or as a fucking sword or something. And, I mean, they're trying to do stuff, and I mean, this is so predictable, as he's saying, right? It's like, oh, of course, the emperor of the world, you made it a woman, you made her brown, you made her disabled. It's just cliches at this point. There's nothing exciting about it, right? It's the funny thing is they are always talking about, what they call it, subverting expectations. But the funny thing is that their kind of subversion, it becomes so apparent and obvious that it's no subversion at all. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's a subversion, but it's not a surprise anymore. It's like, oh, the white old character is actually evil. Ah, okay, I didn't expect that. Oh, the brown person that is a criminal is actually a victim and is actually a good person. Oh, I didn't expect that. Oh, there's another gay person. Oh, these are a lesbian couple. Nice. It's like you can see this from a mile away and it's not interesting, right? It's like it became just another formula, I guess.
And then, like, just oozing with creativity. They're like thinking, like, okay, what has been done?
Oh man, I really love this guy.
That would get people's attention. A school shooting, like obviously everyone would pick that up and say, "What the fuck are they doing? Why are they writing this? Are they fucking crazy? Like that is so fucking offensive." And then you flip the pages and you're like, "Well, this is an interesting story. Where are they going to take this? What story is this going to tell me? Okay, she's fat and she's disabled,
and we already know she can't be evil, and she can't lose, right? Since we are subverting like the power hierarchy, so we don't have the old wise white male king, right? Who is good and who is like a shining example of virtue and everything, right? We can't have that. So now she must be. I don't know. What would you say? So we can have a white character be good, but that also means that we can't have the black character be bad. Right? So she can't be an asshole, she can't fail. She has to be like the strong female character that always wins. She can't have like an interesting story arc, because that would show weakness. And, you know, who would help her? Like a wise old figure like in Star Wars? No. We make, you know, Mark Hamill drink alien titty milk and throw away his lightsaber. Like, okay. I mean, like in the same way, all these, you know, stories about angels and demons where, oh, the angels are actually bad and the demons are actually good. Where it's like, oh man, this just stupid. It's just another cliche and it becomes so boring and apparent. And yeah, this is the same. Like, what can we expect from this character besides, you know, the character just being awesome?
And everything that's woke is fat and disabled.
Like the activists.
They're on a fucking assembly line. Like, you're taking
Not all of them.
and you're busting their kneecaps in order to make them fat and disabled. In order to say, like, yeah, buy our fat and disabled characters, else you're a bigot.
Yeah.
It's like, we're sorry, we're poor. We're poor. We can't afford to just spend so much money on shit that doesn't entertain us.
I mean, yeah, that's actually weird, right?
This is just one of them. I don't even know who...
I mean, it's actually completely fine to do these, right? To do such artworks, to create these type of characters. It's completely fine. I think nobody would have a problem with it if it wasn't like shoved in your face by using already existing franchises and kind of subverting them and warping them to fit your ideological, political perspective, right? It's like, if that wasn't the case, if, you know, somebody just made a game with, you know, such a character, maybe not using the, I mean, I think this is Warhammer kind of aesthetic in there, like in symbols and stuff. If it was just be, you know, I make a video game about this, you know, fat, disabled, lesbian, black hero character, nobody would have a problem with that. But it's always, we take something that you like and we transform it, you know, remake it in our image. And you have to like it, otherwise you're a bigot, you're, you know, a pervert, you're a gooner, or whatever. So I think that is the issue. Nobody else would. I think that is the thing. That is so sad. There will be actually people that start to hate these type of characters in real life, right? They will feel a disdain about, you know, brown people or disabled people or fat or lesbian people because they have been, you know, people have been shoving these type of characters in their face again and again and expect the people to be like, oh yeah, I like this. And they have been shamed for not, you know, enjoying that their franchises or whatever have been changed, right? Changed in a way they don't like. And, you know, then we had the issue that people couldn't talk about it without being shamed and being attacked. And I think that has created a lot of resentment. And people have to remember to not take it out on actual individuals that, you know, are fat or are disabled or are, you know, gay or something else, right? So I think the horrible truth about this is that all these ideologues are doing a disservice to the communities. I have seen more open anti-gay stuff, anti-LGBT stuff, anti-brown people, immigrants or whatever. I have seen more of that in, you know, after all these years of inclusion and equity and whatever. So I think 10 years before, 15 years before, it wasn't that bad. But now I have people that tell me, you know, I have enough of these LGBT people. I have enough of this people shoving this shit in my face. And they would be super, I don't know, progressive and liberal like 10 years ago. So I think they did a grand disservice. And it's kind of, it's bad, it's sad.
Chami Cham is, and I honestly don't fucking care. But I know what Chami Cham's ideology is. I know who Chami Cham votes for. I know what Chami Cham's political opinions are on the environment. I know what her politics are on vaccines. I know what their politics are on...
I hope this wheelchair is powered by solar energy.
On the border,
But it actually doesn't look like it, right?
know what their politics are regarding the shooting of a CEO. I know everything about fucking Chami Chow. How she drew this shit, or he, or whatever. That's the only thing that I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
guess,
the
like,
pronouns
most
about this
important
thing.
The pronoun.
Yeah.
The pronouns is something that I don't know.
Yeah. Don't assume, man.
People are saying it's so bad, even Reddit hates it.
Oh.
There's nothing to hate here. It's just more of the same. It's like, again, the assembly line, right? I mean, this is what I would expect.
This is what I expect in Walmart in America.
It's another American flag. Except we're not during the Bush era anymore. And instead we're during the year 2024. Where this is the new ideology.
Yeah.
The midwits. Instead of being like America, yay, hurrah, we're going to bomb.
Yeah, it's gay people, right?
Now it's like, make sure our drones are painted in rainbow flag and have the black Marxist fist in order to own the chuds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, like the thing is, what type of interesting story could you even? Because like here's the one aspect of it. I wouldn't even be against it if they could actually create interesting stories with it.
Yeah.
You can actually make an interesting story about the person in a wheelchair, like Charles Xavier from X-Men comes with that story.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So it's not like you can't. But
It's possible.
Like, have they ever?
That's a good question.
Is there any character that
Have they ever created a good story?
After 2020, you know, by
If you know a good story, you know, with woke characters, write them in the comments.
Created which span around the globe. Kind of like, you know, World of Warcraft. I mean, everyone knows about the Draenei and the Night Elves. Everyone knows about the old Disney characters. Everyone knows about Mass Effect, right? Like,
yeah, are there super memorable woke characters? I wonder. I mean, I'm not really a gamer or something. I'm not really in the scene. But I'm not sure. I don't think so. What are woke people, you know, what will they fondly remember in like 5 years? I feel like they don't have anything. This is what, you know, the Tolkien quote, like evil cannot create, they can only, you know, what is it? Kind of, I don't know, I don't have the right wording, but can only take what already exists and corrupt it or something. So it feels like this is what they're doing, right? Oh, let's take this, you know, Disney classic, or let's take this character, this or that, and this franchise, and we warp and transform it to be in line with our values and our ideas. But I don't think they create... Have they created stuff themselves? I don't know. And I don't think that these things ever became so... Doesn't need to be popular on a grand scale, but popular in their own circle, that they would... Yeah, that they would, you know, just fondly remember it later. Be like, oh yeah, this is my childhood, this is like a great game, this is something that I really loved. I like this character so much. I'm not sure. Maybe a woke person can tell me.
Incredibly popular characters. This is all they do. They leech off of shit that's popular. Like even here, they're leeching off Warhammer 40K. Like they're not creating their own IP that's getting popular. And the ones that do create their own IP, they're not fucking cringe.
Okay.
Has-Been Hotel is an example, right? Has-Been Hotel is fucking woke. No, it's woke, but it's good, right? Like people around the world know about it.
Okay.
I know about Has-Been Hotel.
So is it good?
People in Greece know about Has-Been Hotel. Even people in Japan have heard about Has-Been Hotel. But it's not fucking cringe. It doesn't have the checkboxes. Like this right here, literally a checkbox simulator.
Ah, okay.
And it makes no fucking sense. Like, why would it...
The checkboxes would be, okay, you have the flags, symbolize, you know, different kinds of sexualities, like gayness and stuff. You have, she is fat, and she's disabled, and she is brown. It's like, yeah, it's actually like you combine, you have to intersect all the oppression qualities, you know. It's like you have the oppression dimension of race. Okay, who is, you know, the most oppressed? Well, it is the brown. Okay, then you have the other dimension of oppression, which is, oh, okay, disabled. Obviously, when you're disabled, you are more oppressed. Now, man or woman? Obviously, women. And, you know, well, that's basically it. Oh, and sexuality. Okay, if you are some color, some version of LGBT, you're oppressed. So you put all the oppression stones together, and then you get it. You get the whatever this is.
In the world of 40K, why would they still have flags and paraphernalia that belong to 2024? Like, has time frozen
Good question.
still? In 40K, they don't even know about America as a country. They don't even know about the
I mean, if LGBT ideology actually won and became so, you know, popular that 40,000 years ago it still would be there, wouldn't they by that time have abolished gender completely? I mean, I wouldn't expect that. And then they probably wouldn't need the whole flag identification anymore. But maybe that is the flag of the world, okay? This is the banner under which the world fights now. I don't know.
The politics and like what we have today, because so much time has...
Yeah, but that is a good point, actually, you know. The infusion of modern day politics into fiction, which immediately destroys immersion. It takes you out of the experience. Now I'm looking at a propaganda piece, or now I'm looking at something that was created with the intent to reflect the real world, or to reflect something, or a way how the world should be, or it reflects their belief system, their ideology, or this was put in the video game for, you know, inclusion, or for, you know, other kinds of modern day values. So you know that the motivation for this was political or ideological. Okay, sometimes you have to scream the word or be loud, then it works. So you know there was in different intent. The intent wasn't to make a good game, to represent, you know, whatever is in the game, to create something that is important for the story in the game or something. No, this is important for a political cause. This is important for this or this type of group to feel represented. And yeah, at that moment it becomes propaganda. And then of course people would say, no, every part of media, everything is political, right? And it's like, okay, maybe everything can be viewed. You can find political themes in everything, but it doesn't mean that every time the political themes are put in there, are there to put in to push an agenda, right? So I don't think that when they created Final Fantasy VII, they wanted to push an environmental agenda, right? Or, I mean, what else could you say? I mean, maybe if you watch I haven't watched the Terminator films, I need to watch them, but when you watch the Terminator film, probably the message wasn't, you know, AI is evil. I don't know, maybe, okay, maybe, I don't know. I think it depends. I think what it depends on is if the political elements that are in the story, that are introduced in the story, fit the overall, what would you say, the universe where it takes place in. Otherwise, you know, it's just there's this immersion break. There's this break of it's just not fitting, right? You're seeing an element inside of a political element that was added onto it, which has no other function, or that has no function in the game. The function is you seeing it. The function is whatever this has to. The function is the ideology that it pushes. So it is designed to do something with the viewer, with larger society. And the moment you check that, it just feels off. I hope you get what I mean.
Past that they may know, like, about, okay, there were some continents, but they don't actually know the politics of the United States, and they would certainly not have a single flag that exists now. But that doesn't fucking matter, right? Because, well, we're promoting inclusivity, so we're going to just slap the flag the same way that the Bushes would slap.
Yeah, it's about promoting stuff, right?
So that it sells. The thing is, like, it actually did sell back then. Like, people unironically bought the cup, and they bought the underwear with the American flag, and they bought the bra with the eagle.
I mean, this is something different, right? I mean, people also buy cups and mugs and t-shirts with these symbols on. I mean, that's not the same than, you know, you play a video. I mean, probably there were a lot of video games where there were just random American symbols in it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we would have to look at what he's referring to, but if he would just refer to, like, you know, merchandise or like mugs or t-shirts or something, of course people would buy that with American flag, and people are still buying this with, you know, in gay flag. For me, the difference becomes when it's about fiction and you just put certain elements or symbols in it to further an ideology, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, if the game plays in America and part of American culture is that there are a lot of American flags, then there's no immersion break seeing, you know, a mug with an American flag in a video game or something, right? Or like just a random American flag. So, but I mean, if you would play like America in the 1800s and there are like gay flags around, you're like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. So that's the difference for me.
Patriots have money, but the problem with these people is that they're not even supporting their own shit.
Oh yeah, okay, that's the point.
I see so many defenders on Twitter.
Yeah.
Day and night, they're defending shit like this. But they're not buying shit like this. Like,
yeah, that's kind of weird, right? They're trying to tell you to buy this stuff, but they're not willing to buy it themselves. So not even them, they themselves want to play these kind of games or play as these kinds of characters. Yeah, it's more like a moral posturing, right? It's like, look, I'm at the right side, I have the right opinion. If you have a different opinion, you're a bad person, you're a piece of shit. You should support this, and I also support this, but they're just supporting it by mouth, right? By saying it. There's nothing more to it. I think because most of these takes are not real takes. They're not real takes, they're real opinion. It's like opinions they have gathered or they know that they should have, but there's no real emotion behind it. The only real emotion is the fake outrage which they use to as a weapon against you. Like, is that a real emotion? But maybe, but there's no real emotion about this is actually important to me. I don't know. I think there's some people who actually think this is important. Or are they just so deep, so NPC-ified, like they're deep into a cult? You know this video of the guy that with very short hair and like a little bit of a feminine feature face, like a soft face, and he watches the Star Wars trailer, and he starts to hysterically cry and be like overjoyed, I guess. And people were like, "Oh, don't shit on them because he has so much joy, and that is a good thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. I didn't shit on him. I don't like to shit on people, on real people." But the thing is, you have to be in a certain mindset to be, I don't know, so excited and be so overjoyed. I mean, this all could be an act, right? This person could just fake it, and, you know, then I guess good for them. I'm not really a fan of deception, but also that's why I'm not a fan. Even if Nico Cardo Avocado was actually just faking it, I'm not really a fan of that. But, you know, some people are really, I don't know, celebrating that type of behavior. Anyway, I think if this is honest and honest reaction, and there's really this overflowing of excitement, ecstasy, because you watched this, like a couple of scenes from a movie trailer, I don't know, there's something weird about it. There's something, now I'm relating this to people that get these types of religious experience through their activism, where it's like, oh, I see, I see this disabled, fat, lesbian, black woman as the king of the universe or whatever in this picture depicted, and this brings me so much emotion, so much joy. I feel so great about this. I finally feel represented or something. I think you can only come to that kind of take or this kind of emotion if you're like very deep down into some kind of rabbit hole. I don't know. There must be so little. Maybe it's about consciousness, right? And maybe it's pretentious for me to say this, but it feels like there are a lot of people that there's no active consciousness there or reflection there, and they're just programs running in their mind, and they're just acting on these programs, and you can't even reach them with logic, which is so funny. I mean, obviously, I can't be reached with logic if I have made up my mind with something, or I feel strongly about something, or I have like a deep anxiety or something. I know I, as a person, also can't be reached with logic, but at the same time, I can see that. I acknowledge it. I know, okay, I'm unreasonable right now, or I have an unreasonable feeling or something. I acknowledge that most of the time, I guess. But I feel like some people, you could give them the logic and they would still, I don't know, find a way to weasel out, or they don't even see the logic. There's no one there, feels like. And I think the sad reality for most people, and I think this was also for me true, is that if you have been fallen deep down into, a slumber of the mind, you have to be waken up by sharp reality and an immense pain. And this is very sorry, but very sad. And sorry. This is very sad, but I think that is the case. And I think we are living through a great awakening, which is a result of a deep slumber. And people always say, "Oh, we are living in easy times, and hard times create easy times, and easy times create something." Hard men, strong men create hard men. We are not talking about hard men on the stream. Strong men create good times create soft men create hard times create hard men. Okay, so yeah. And people say we are living in easy times and soft times. And I think actually we are living in very hard times, but not physically hard times. But it's more like mentally hard times. And it might be that the easiness of our situation we are in is actually what creates our inner struggles. But we don't have to get into this. We just wanted to finish this video, okay?
If someone made this toy, if someone made it,
and nobody would buy this shit. Nobody.
Would stay on the shelves and just gather dust.
Yeah.
Maybe
there's no appeal to it.
40K millennium, maybe it can stay on the shelves until we reach 40K, and then someone out there may buy it. I don't know. Why does it trigger me so?
Why does it
trigger? Why it does trigger me so? I think it triggers me so because it cannibalizes all of the IPs, and they're so aggressive about its promotion. Like, they go out of their way to say that, oh, if you don't like this, you're a bigot, but they don't like it either.
Yeah, okay.
Then, by example, if I saw people with a massive collection of this in their bedroom, I would be like, okay, maybe it is me who I am wrong. Like, maybe I'm missing out on something. No one has this collection. I'm looking at people on the left. And they're, like the ones that are promoting geek culture and shit. They don't have this shit either. No one does. I'm
No
not
one
talking about
does.
the specific design. I'm talking about like in general. Like no one has a poster with this shit on their wall. Seriously, like if it was great, people would make posters of it, right?
I mean, it's really like this. I mean, I don't think that people who look like this, they want to feel good about themselves, and I think they should live in a world where they don't get treated like badly, or what would you say, unhumanly, treated without, you know, grace and dignity. I think they should be treated with grace and dignity. And also with respect. Some people say, oh, respect you have to earn. I think if you don't know a person, you shouldn't treat them without respect just because you think, well, you made wrong, you know, lifestyle choices. Well, you know, you are fat, that says something about your, you know, discipline, and that's why I can disrespect you. I don't think that is good. We all have our mistakes. We all are faulty in some way, and we go through hard times, and even self-imposed hard times. Everybody does this. Everybody fucks up, and you know, everybody knows that it can be very hard to change ways. And we also know that there are very, you know, personal struggles that we go through that stem from our very individualistic situation, right? We are not born equal. We are not born in the same situation. So, you know, one might struggle with alcohol, and you might say, oh, that's weak. Then you struggle with, you know, food addiction, and another person says, well, that's weak. And the other person, but, you know, they struggle with gambling addiction, and another person smokes, and, you know, the other person just can't let go of the person they loved in high school or whatever. So everybody has this some weird patterns, or some, you know, strange addiction, or some, yeah, I would say cognitive patterns where they have problems with letting them go, or they're unable to see them. And we should have mercy, we should have understanding, we should have empathy. Just because we don't struggle with a certain thing doesn't mean like the other person's struggle isn't valid. So I think we should treat people like that with dignity and respect. But at the same time, we can say, well, this is not aspirational. This is not what most people, you know, aspire to be. That is not what the experience that most people want to have when they want to play a certain game. They don't want to play at this, you know, with this type of body type, or as this type of character. And I think we can say that without, you know, disparaging them or putting them down, you know, making them feel bad. Obviously, sure, people that are not the norm, that are not conventionally beautiful, they will feel bad. And I think it is just a harsh and, what would you say? It's just the harsh reality that there are things that most of people find attractive. And if you are not that, most of people don't find you attractive. And if your self-worth and your value is tied to being seen as conventionally attractive, then you will be sad. And no matter what, you know, no matter how many people try to normalize or make whatever you are be seen attractive, it just won't happen. And it's just a illusion that people will create around you. And maybe this will give you some kind of relief for a couple of seconds, but I think the sad reality is that sometimes we have to let things go. And there might be people that wanted to be like great football players or great soccer players or whatever, great athletes, and they had to face the reality that their body type or whatever they are is not going to cut it. So they will forever live in a reality where they are never enough. They will never achieve their dreams. They will never feel good about themselves if they keep on, you know, holding on to this idea that they must be an athlete. And I think what people that are like that have to work out is the fact that they don't have to be conventionally seen as conventionally attractive. And I think if they want to be, there are things that they can do, but they can't reprogram whole humanity and shame the majority, can shame all of humanity and make everybody feel bad and force, this onto everybody just so everybody takes part in a delusion to make them feel better. I think that is bad as well. And it's sad that there's no good solution. I think it's part of reality. That is why I think the Gnostics think that the world is just, a prison, and this is just, an evil prison. We have to break out of it. And you see the Gnostic view represented in all of leftist thought, I think, where the body is always seen as something to liberate you from, your gender is something to liberate you from. It's always, the body is a cage, and all normal functions like pregnancy, for example, is also something that is forced upon you. It's like nature is being forced upon you. Everything is forced upon you because there's a super individualistic view of being a human, where you are this atomized being, and everything that happens to you, everything around you, even your body, the way you look, everything is something that was done to you. And to be your true self means to liberate yourself from your body, from the limitations of how you look, from the limitations of natural, birth and pregnancy, from everything, just so that life can be the way you want it to be. And sadly, the way people want it to be is just to extract goods from life. Like, I want to feel good. I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel good about my body. I want to feel everything needs to be a pleasant experience. Everything needs to be serving me and my needs. And my face doesn't serve my needs. My body doesn't serve my needs. Oh, now I'm pregnant. This doesn't serve my needs. Right? It's always about my fucking needs, and the world and nature and everything has to be reshaped. It is a complete rejection of creation. That is why it's also be seen as functionally as satanic, as anti-Christ. It is the world should be remade in my image, and that is why there's also this hatred towards life and the world in general. So it is a very sorrowful view of the world that only creates pain and suffering, and furthers pain and suffering, and destructs everything that is beautiful and good and true and real and nice and everything that is good and right. It is the rejection of life. I think I can end this here. Thank you for watching, and we are going to see us very soon. I won't be here tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow. I wish you a good... How do you say it in English? Happy New Year. Bye-bye.